I am sitting in my apartment in downtown Austin, the city lights flickering through my window on this quiet Tuesday evening. 3.5 years ago, I thought my marriage to Amber was the best thing that ever happened to me. We had everything. A home, plans for the future, 2 dogs we loved like children. Until the night I found the messages on her phone. Until I realized the woman I trusted completely had been living a double life. I did something most people would call crazy. I disappeared. Completely. No forwarding address, no explanation, no second chances. Just gone. Before I tell you how a single decision changed everything, let me know where you are watching from. Drop your city in the comments, hit that like button and subscribe, because what happened when she finally found me will blow your mind. Now let me take you back to where it all started. Amber and I met during our sophomore year at the University of Washington in Seattle. She was studying marketing. I was deep into computer science. We were both 20 years old, young and stupid in love. She had this infectious laugh that could light up any room. I remember thinking I had won the lottery when she agreed to go out with me. We dated for 3 years before I proposed on a hiking trail overlooking Mount Rainier. She said yes, with tears streaming down her face. We got married right after graduation, a small ceremony with close family and friends at a vineyard in Woodinville. It was perfect. Simple, beautiful, full of hope. We moved to Portland for work. I landed a job as a software engineer at a mid-sized tech company, and Amber became a marketing manager at a growing startup. We bought a small house in the suburbs, nothing fancy, but it was ours. We adopted 2 golden retrievers, Max and Buddy, and they became our world. For the first 4 years of marriage, everything felt right. We cooked dinner together on weeknights, tried new restaurants on Fridays, went hiking every summer weekend. We talked about having kids, maybe 2 within the next couple of years. I trusted her completely. Never once did I question her loyalty or love. She was my partner, my best friend, the person I shared every detail of my life with. But around 6 months before everything fell apart, things started changing. Amber began working later and later. She would come home at 9 or 10 at night, sometimes even later, claiming her team was under pressure with a big client project. I believed her. Why would I not? She seemed stressed, exhausted, so I tried to be supportive. I would have dinner ready, ask about her day, offer to give her foot rubs. Then I noticed smaller things. Her phone, which used to sit face up on the kitchen counter, was now always face down. She changed her passcode. We had always known each other's passwords. It was just something we did, no secrets between us. When I asked why she changed it, she brushed it off, saying she wanted something more secure because of work emails. Again, I believed her. She became distant emotionally. We stopped having those long conversations we used to have before bed. She stopped initiating intimacy. When I tried to talk to her about it, she would sigh and say work was draining her, that she just needed time. I told myself this was temporary, just a rough patch every couple goes through. One evening in late September, Amber went to take a shower. She left her phone on the coffee table in the living room. I was not the type to snoop. I had never once gone through her phone in 5 years of marriage. But it lit up with a text message, and I glanced at it without thinking. The name read, Kyle Work. The message preview said, "Cannot wait to see you tomorrow. Last night was incredible." My heart stopped. I stared at those words, reading them over and over, hoping I was misunderstanding. Last night was incredible. Last night, Amber told me she had worked until 11 at the office. I did not open her phone. I did not read more. I just sat there, frozen, my mind racing through 1,000 possibilities. Maybe it was innocent. Maybe it was a work celebration. Maybe I was overreacting. But deep down I knew something was very wrong. The next few days I could not sleep. I watched her every move, analyzed every word she said. She seemed happier than she had been in months, but not with me. She was smiling at her phone, texting constantly, humming to herself while getting ready for work. She was happy because of someone else. I decided I needed to know the truth before I confronted her. I could not go into a conversation based on suspicion alone. I needed facts. So I started paying attention. I checked our credit card statements, something I had never done before because we trusted each other with finances. I found charges at expensive restaurants I had never heard of, places Amber never mentioned going to. There were hotel charges, small boutique hotels in Portland that we had never stayed at together. One Friday afternoon, Amber told me she had a client dinner that would run late. She kissed my cheek, told me not to wait up and left. Something in my gut told me to follow her. I got in my car and drove to her office building downtown. I parked across the street and waited. An hour later she came out, but she was not alone. She was with a man, tall brown hair, wearing an expensive-looking suit. They walked to his car, a sleek black BMW. Before getting in, he pulled her close and kissed her. Not a friendly peck. A long, intimate kiss. I sat in my car, my hands gripping the steering wheel so tight my knuckles turned white. I watched them drive away. I did not follow. I just sat there for maybe 20 minutes, trying to process what I had just seen. My wife, the woman I had pledged my life to, was kissing another man in broad daylight. They drove off together, probably to one of those hotels on our credit card statement. I drove home. I did not cry. I did not yell. I just felt numb, empty, like someone had scooped out my insides and left a hollow shell. But I needed more than what I had seen. I needed concrete proof, documentation. So I did something I never thought I would do. I hired a private investigator. His name was Doug, a man in his mid-50s with over 20 years of experience. I met him at a coffee shop, handed him a retainer check, and gave him all the information I had. 2 weeks later, Doug called me. He had what I needed. We met again, and he handed me a thick manila envelope. I sat in my car in the parking lot and opened it. Inside were photographs, dozens of them. Amber and this man Kyle meeting at restaurants, going into hotels, walking hand in hand through parks. There were timestamps, locations, detailed notes. They had been seeing each other at least 3 times a week for the past 4 months. There were also screenshots of text messages. Doug had somehow managed to get backups of their conversations. I read through them, each one like a knife twisting deeper into my chest. Amber told Kyle she loved him. She told him she was planning to leave me. The worst message, the one that broke me completely, was when she wrote, "I do not love him anymore. I am just waiting for the right time to leave." I sat there in that parking lot staring at those words. The woman I had loved for over a decade, the woman I had built my entire adult life around, did not love me anymore. And she had not even had the courage to tell me. She was just waiting for the right time. That night I waited for Amber to come home. She walked in around 10:30, smelling of cologne that was not mine. I was sitting in the living room with all the lights off. When she walked in and flipped the switch, she jumped, startled to see me sitting there in the dark. I did not yell. I did not scream. I just asked very calmly, "How long have you been sleeping with Kyle?" Her face went white. She opened her mouth, closed it, then tried to stammer out a denial. I reached beside me and placed the manila envelope on the coffee table. I did not say anything else. I just looked at her. She stared at the envelope, then at me. Her eyes filled with tears. She sat down on the couch across from me and started crying. "It just happened, Elliot. I did not mean for this. It started as just friendship, and then things got complicated. I asked the only question that mattered. Do you love him?" She did not answer right away. She just kept crying. Then slowly, she nodded. That nod was all I needed. It confirmed everything. My marriage was over. Not because of a mistake, not because of a moment of weakness, but because she had chosen someone else. She had fallen in love with someone else, while still married to me. I stood up. I told her I was going to sleep in the guest room. She tried to reach for me, tried to apologize, but I walked away. I could not look at her anymore. That night I did not sleep. I sat in the guest room, staring at the ceiling, planning my next move. I realized something important. I did not want a messy divorce. I did not want to fight over possessions, or have angry confrontations, or involve friends and family in our drama. I just wanted out. I wanted to disappear from this life and start over somewhere new. The next morning, while Amber was still sleeping, I contacted a divorce attorney. I explained the situation, provided the evidence Doug had gathered, and asked for the simplest, fastest divorce possible. My lawyer said we could file for an uncontested divorce if Amber agreed to the terms. I told him to draft papers that gave her the house. I did not want it. Every corner of that place held memories I wanted to forget. I would take our savings and the stock options from my company, split everything else down the middle. Over the next week, while Amber tried to talk to me, tried to explain herself, tried to ask for forgiveness, I methodically dismantled my life in Portland. I called my best friend Derek, who lived in Denver. I asked if he could take Max and Buddy. He agreed without hesitation, said he would drive up the following weekend. I started applying for remote positions with tech companies in other cities. Within 3 days, I had an offer from a startup in Austin, Texas. Full remote work, good salary, fresh start. I accepted immediately. I gave notice at my Portland job telling them I had a family emergency and needed to relocate. They were understanding, gave me a good reference. I started packing my personal belongings, just the essentials. Clothes, laptop, a few books, photographs of my family, but none of Amber. Amber noticed I was packing. She panicked. "Elliot, what are you doing? Are you leaving? We need to talk about this. We can work through this." I did not argue with her. I just said the divorce papers will be delivered to you next week. Everything is fair. You keep the house, I take my savings.